Am I allowed to pause just a little bit and gloat and soak in the moment and slowly get into this? Because trust me, this was kind of unexpected. We had this race for the MPL Super Couch, and I was never even in contention at 61 for 5. In fact, we thought for a moment none of us would be on the MPL Super Couch because we had to reach 150 for that. And we were already looking at scores of around 130, 140 on that surface. Would it be good enough for them to defend? Well, Captain Karthik and Dre Russ had other ideas, and it went to 185 for 8, and that was beyond everyone's expectations, except perhaps the man himself, who can do no wrong. 62 of 28, helped a little bit about with a few of the bowlers pitching it just where he wanted it, but nonetheless, that was sheer muscle power. Now I'll allow the guests to have a bit of a say, Joy and Michael Vaughan. As I said, I've got it for the first time, but highly unexpectedly.
Absolutely. I mean, look at it, 61 or 62 after the 36 after the first 6, 61 and 62. More importantly, the statistic 5 down. And from there to pull it back. And that's amazing. With 5 wickets down, you pull it back like that. And the most interesting thing about it is this pitch played badly. It's not as if the pitch played particularly well. It's just that he had so much power, and maybe Karthik had so much timing, that they managed to still make the boundaries, and that was incredible. I mean, it's a display of hitting that other teams just see and say that here's a team you're pushing, you've got them on the mat at 64 for 5, and they come back and make 185.
Oh, I think it's intimidation. You know, I think that's what I do. I think that's what Dre Russ. I mean, Karthik deserves all the credit really, because his skill levels just allowed Dre Russ just a few balls to get in. He knocked a couple of singles. He was facing Labuschagne, and then all of a sudden he thought, you know what? I've got used to these conditions. I've faced 5 or 6. I'm just going to start hitting 6s. And there you go, 62 from 28, 6 6s, 4 4s. And I think he's just bringing intimidation to the bowlers. And they landed it on the plate because they're intimidated by what he, they go short, he'll play the pull shot, they go full. I think one thing I'd try and do to him is probably go wide. Probably go wide and try and bowl him just inside the tram line and get him hit into one side. The boundaries aren't that big in Delhi, so if you put it into his zone, as we saw, he's just going to clear the stands on a regular basis. It was tremendous striking.
But from his point of view, I remember all of us were chatting about it at the time. We said, he's got a few too many overs to play with, uncharted territory. Almost like the Pollard of old we used to talk about, that if he has too many balls to play with, he doesn't seem to like it too much. But he played his way in, got those few singles, hit that 1-6, and then he said, okay, I'm here.
Yeah, I think we kind of put these strikers in a box as if that's all they can do. You look at Chris Gale many years ago. I think everyone was saying, "Oh, he's just a whacker of a cricket." He's actually got a smart cricket brain. They're the T20 champions because they've got a group of players in the West Indies that don't just crack it to the boundary, but they've also got some nice thinkers of the game. I honestly think the West Indies right now have got the most power in world cricket.
Interestingly, the pain actually helped him. We talk about sometimes beware of a player who's playing on one leg. In this case, beware of a person with one shoulder, because he said he felt the pain, which is why he told the skipper that, listen, I'm going to go for it because of the pain. Let's go for 150, and this was a bonus.
Fabulous. I mean, that can only happen with Andre Russell, and those results only happen with him. The only problem with that is the fact that they literally, with Sunil Narine not playing, they're literally playing with 5 frontline bowlers. So Russell's 4 overs will be very important today, and that's one thing that hopefully, he had an ice pack, but he should be
fine.
okay.
He'll be fine. He likes the cameras on him. He'll be absolutely fine. He'll be charging in. He'll be bowling his tricks.
But let's just play devil's advocate here. Let's assume that it's something you'd want to keep an eye on. You've got the runs on the board. Do the management turn around and say we don't want to risk it? And if so, do they have a backup in their ranks?
Oh, the only time that you'd be a little bit cautious if you feel there's a break. If it's just bruising, and a physio will be able to feel around to get a feel if there's any kind of break in there. If it's just bruising and pain, I'm afraid Dre Russ is just going to have to take a tablet and get on with it.
Can you feel it through those layers of muscle?
Not really. I mean, I can't imagine there's a chance that the ball can get through that muscle to get to the bone. He's got that much bulk, but I'm sure he'll be out there. He'll be desperate to make sure that his team win this game.
And let's not count the skipper out. We keep talking about those World Cup places up for grabs and Rishabh Pant on the one hand, but Dinesh Karthik did his chances no harm. He looked good, led from the front.
Very interesting. Yes, A, he led from the front, but 2, going back to your question, both of them did their chances no harm, because if Rishabh Pant is not, the reason they are not considering him was that he isn't a great keeper. And he took a fabulous catch today. And Dinesh Karthik obviously had to make a point that, okay, look, you've forgotten me, you can't afford to forget me. So that list is only about 14 long. I think Gautam Gambhir has also added a few figures. But Dinesh Karthik, this innings is what you call the typical finisher's innings, When they struck it around for a bit, then accelerated towards the end. Very important innings. And see, what's happened with KKR is now they're going to go back and, many times, this is a long season, you're going to play at least 14 games. And they're going to look and say, we were 64 for 5, and this is what we can end up with. And that's also very important. As a captain turning around and saying, look, even when we are backside to the wall, we can still go and get 185. And they could win this match by 40. Considering the kind of pitch there is, it's a real likelihood.
But again, if you assess the surface, as it were, now what are the bowling units saying? Because again, going back to the first game, the side that's batted first has had the wisdom of batting on that. So a good surface, yes, you know what to do. A bad surface, you know what to do.
Yeah, I mean, it looks the kind of pitch that you just got to use all your variations. You're looking at someone like Kuldeep Yadav. He'll be the key for KKR. I'm sure he'll get a little bit of tweak. The boundaries are small though, so that gives Delhi a chance. It does give Delhi an opportunity, particularly with the likes of Rishabh Pant, Shikhar Dhawan at the top of the order. You would feel that someone in that top three will have to get a big score and get the momentum. Certainly, I don't see Delhi Capitals responding if they're 63 for 5. I don't think that they can lose early wickets. They've got to get that foundation set, and they've got to give that platform to someone like Rishabh Pant towards the back end of the innings.
Yeah, just have a look at the Delhi side. We talked about the options for the Knight Riders, but what about the Delhi playing 11? And
the interesting one there, I think they might float him as Hanuma Vihari, because Hanuma Vihari is known to be a really good player of spin. So what he could be doing is they could be floating him and saying that if you're going to throw in this one early, Kuldeep Yadav early, they might just bring him out early to combat spin, because the rest of the batsmen, all of them they're players. But if you see, Shikhar likes the ball on, Prithvi likes the ball definitely to come on. Colin Ingram is best with fast or medium fast bowling. This is really Rishabh and Hanuma Vihari are the kind of players who can really muscle spinners as well. And this kind of pitch, because it's not going to play true, muscling is what you need. What Andre Russell did very well was just, even if he didn't time it, he just hit it with so much power and it still went.
Nitish Rana could be one X factor with ball in hand.
Yes,
we've seen it in the past. And again, he could be standing in for Dre Russ. On the one hand, you've got Lockie Ferguson, his pace, and certainly that's the kind of thing that will be an equation here. Let's have a look at all their options that they have there. If we count Andre Russell out for the moment, we're looking at 4, and then you need to get one X factor from out there.
Yeah, Nitish is the only person in that unit who I know bowls on a fairly regular basis. None of the others do, but I mean, we are not, as Michael would say, that Andre would be so charged up. If you've got 60 odd runs and you're going to be man of the match again, likely you're not going to sit back and say, no, it's hurting a bit, I'm not going to bowl.
He's some man if he can hit the ball out the ground with a broken shoulder. I'd say he's just bruised, get out there, get a tablet. Those big pink ones generally work.
Simple as that. Just get a nice big pink tablet out there.
I remember once Andre Russell turning around and looking, I said, do you work out a lot? He said, man, this body wasn't ordered on Amazon.com. I said, yeah, only Andre Russell can give you an answer like that.
Yeah, we were recently on a show together and we were talking about, trying to play these cute shots, talking about a lot of improvisations in the game, reverse sweeps and lap shots. And asked him, said, Dre Russ, you'd be good at playing some fun shots like that. He said, muscle power, don't need to.
Well, that's why I say the West Indians now, I mean, England have got a powerful batting lineup, so have India. But I think the most powerful is the West Indian team, right down to number 9. They've got power all the way down. You get Evan Lewis back in there, you've got Chris Gale, you've got Shimron Hetmar, you've got Jay Russ, you've got Shea Hope. There's plenty of power in that batting lineup. And I've been saying it for 6 months, but I think the West Indies are going to surprise teams in the World Cup. I really do. I think the bowling attack's okay, but because of that power of batting, they can chase down any targets.
Yeah, so that's where things stand. MPL presents Cricbuzz Live. It's been an unexpected turnaround of events. After being 61 for 5, the Knight Riders have posted a stiff target for the home side, the Delhi Capitals, to try and chase it down. So quickly, gentlemen, which side are you leaning, purple or blue?
I think Kolkata's put far too much on the board, and Saurav Ganguly's expression in the end told you all, everything you needed to know. He just had that look that, we had our chances, we almost had them there, and they slipped away. I think 185's 20 runs too much.
The professional in him was obviously disheartened. The Kolkatan in him would be
delighted,
happy.
Probably delighted.
You also?
I'm going to agree. I'm going to go even more than that. I think 35. I think they've got plenty.
Yeah, I'm not going to differ with that. I'm going to stick to it because I think it was a few runs too many. The surface said around 150, and if you put 20 or 30 above par, then that's pretty much what we're going to stick to. For now, I'm just going to sit here and not move, probably until the 10th over when we might come back with Cricbuzz Combops. Otherwise, MPL presents Cricbuzz Live. We'll be back to review everything from our doubleheader on this Super Saturday, and I'm on this Super MPL, or rather MPL Super Couch. So excited.